Do your job.
Marcos Viegas for FightHubTV.com, standing here with Ricky the Hitman Hatton. Ricky, your brother has a big fight tomorrow against Saul Canelo Alvarez, but Canelo did not make weight. What's going on right now?
Alvarez is away making weight. He didn't make the agreed weight, and Matthew did, and he's not fulfilled his part of the deal up to now. But I mean, it's not the first time somebody hasn't, has failed the scales. This is the business you're in. You've got to make the exact weight, and that's. I'm sure he'll be back in a minute, and it'll be we'll be all raring to go.
I know in reports you advised your brother not to take the fight if he came in overweight or at 154. The bout's for a 154 title. Do you think your brother would have really called the fight off if Alvarez came in that weight, even though it being a title fight?
Well, it was absolutely wonderful when the fight got made for the world super welterweight title. But if you agree a weight, that's what the fight's made at. And he hasn't made it yet. That's the top and bottom of it, really, isn't it? When I fought at junior welterweight at 10 stone, if someone coming at 10-3, I wouldn't give him say it's okay out the goodness of my heart. This is I'm sure Saul Alvarez would have done the same for Matthew. We can't move the rules of boxing. If it's a fight is made at a certain weight, you've got to make that weight.
You guys must have been a little excited or a little like, all right, like he's overweight, and now the cards are decked in our favor.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, to be perfectly honest with you, it's always nice to see, your opponent having to sweat weight off. But if he goes away, sweats the weight off, comes back and make it, then we haven't got a problem, really. I mean, if he'd have come in and bang on the weight straight away. I mean, Golden Boy, made the fight at a certain weight, so the buck stops. I wouldn't say the buck stops with Golden Boy. The buck obviously stops with the fighter. But I mean, if the fight has been made at a fight that he can't make at, that's not our fault,
Seeing this fight going tomorrow in a perfect scenario, how would you see Matt fight Alvarez?
I'd like to think Matthew will win on points.
Now, with that being said, do you think that's the win Matthew needs, regardless if it's spectacular or not? He just needs a win over Saul to solidify himself?
Well, it's for a world title. All you're bothered about is winning. It's every fighter's dream to win a world championship. My brother's got the time to do that. I don't think he'll be too bothered how he wins. Obviously, he would like to impress, but I think the ultimate thing is he gets his hand raised.
Do you find that Alvarez has a little bit too much hype over him? Do you see that he might be overhyped? What do you think about him? Your personal thoughts on him?
He's had a lot of fights. He's only 20 years of age. He's very exciting. I mean, and so far, he's whatever hype has been put on his shoulders, he's backed it up. But I do think this is the toughest fight of his life. Matthew is very experienced now. He's got a lot of fights under his belt, and he's really got the bit between his teeth. Very similar to he knows he's an underdog. But so was I when I fought Kosciuszko, when I raised to the challenge, and looking at him in his training camp, I think Matthew's done the same.
Well, he is a Hatton.
He certainly is, and he's fearless. He's fearless. That's there's one thing they can say about myself and my brother. We're scared of no one. He never hesitated at taking the fight a weight above, and makes me proud to call him my brother when he does things like that.
Now, in a dream scenario, how would you do against Saul Canelo Alvarez?
Well, it's very hard to say. Obviously, the weight division is massive.
Let's say at welterweight. If he came in at 147, you came in at 147.
Well, I'd obviously like to think I'd beat him. When you think of the caliber of opponents that I've boxed and fought and won, and to who up to now, I must say that up to now, who Alvarez have fought, I've obviously fought at a higher level and been impressive. But I think Alvarez is probably more one for the future. He's only 20, don't forget.
With seeing that and say, your brother doesn't come with the win tomorrow, do you think a match with you and Alvarez would be something that would get that fire in your belly back? Would you want to get one back for your brother?
No, not really. No, I mean, I've achieved everything. I mean, I won 4 world titles, 5 world titles really, if you can include the Ring Magazine belt, which is obviously the best belt you can have, but 5 world titles, 2 weight divisions. Alvarez has, I feel very proud to say, Alvarez has got to do what I have done, but there's no reason to see why he can't. He's a wonderfully talented fighter, but he's still only 20 years of age, and maybe it'd be the right fight at the right time for my brother.